Hi, hello and welcome to another episode by Fed Movie, where I share with you what it is like to live and work in China. Today, I'm coming at you from the city of Tianjin. I have been invited by China Daily to join their tour, A Date with China. So we are going to show you in a series of videos some of the beautiful things that the city of Tianjin has to offer. I'm only joining them in this tour for 1 day, so this would be a short clip, but I will be joining them in other tour of Shenzhen and Hainan, which ought to be very interesting. That's going to be a few more days. So in this particular video, I want to show you some of the beautiful things that we saw in the city of Tianjin. Tianjin is a very interesting combination of modern architecture with some traditional Chinese architecture and also lots of Western architecture. This particular area in the center, in the downtown of Tianjin, called Wudadao, or Five Avenues, it used to be concessions to European powers back in the day. So a lot of the architecture and a lot of the buildings that you see along these streets are basically from Dutch origin, from Belgium origin, all kinds of different origins that you can actually see in this clip here. We also had an opportunity to visit some historic buildings, some historic houses along this area. One of them was one of those houses where Mao Zedong actually stayed. They say that among the thousands of houses that were available to him when he came to Tianjin, he chose this particular one because it had a swimming pool. Not much of a swimming pool, but well, in those days, I suppose that was a really, really high luxury. So this whole area has a very vibrant feeling. You see the people enjoying open spaces and enjoying the whole harmony between the different kinds of architecture that's available to them, the different spaces, the different parks, and the lots of trees and vegetation that you can see around this neighborhood. So that's a very interesting thing to see, in my personal opinion. We also visited a museum, which is basically in a hotel where we stayed, which is called the Astor Hotel, which was set up in the 1800s, and it's a hotel with tons of tradition, to the point where they actually have their own museum with very old furniture and very old cutlery and menus and things that, well, make for a very traditional hotel. Take a look at the actual bedroom that I stayed in. It's just very, very regal. They say that in that particular floor, the third floor where I stayed, Zhou Enlai, basically Mao Zedong's number 2, stayed in that floor. So yeah, a hotel with lots of history. Now, we also had the opportunity to go to a couple of museums and some historic residences that are very well preserved as cultural heritage or intangible cultural heritage. We were shown different quarters from a particular clan or family that was very prominent here in Tianjin. We were actually invited to go on a boat tour at night. It was absolutely fantastic. It was about a 50-minute ride, and just the skyline at night of Tianjin, the downtown of Tianjin, is absolutely beautiful. This particular Ferris wheel that they wanted to replicate kind of the London Eye, but it's a lot smaller than the London Eye. It takes about 20 minutes as opposed to I think it takes almost 50 in London. So a little bit different, but yeah, the way the whole bank of the river, which actually splits in two, is 72 kilometers of the river that runs through the city. In this particular area, it splits in two in a very very peculiar and very well decorated area. The both banks of the river are very modern, and they have a lot of beautiful architecture, beautiful buildings that are used for commerce, for business, and for also government offices and government business affairs. So all in all, I was very surprised with Tianjin. I always had in my mind that whenever you start coming north, the skies are going to be rather gray. But just look at the sky behind me. I don't know, this camera is a little bit too small and the sensor is not great, but just very surprised with the amount of greenery, the amount of blue sky. I can't tell you, I cannot see any pollution here. It's just unbelievably beautiful. So very surprised in that sense. And the last thing that we did was basically we joined the opening ceremony of this third leg of what is called a date with China from China Daily. We saw some interesting performances from a lot of foreigners that actually speak way better Chinese than I do. It put my experience of living in China to shame. These are people who have embraced China way more than I have, I think, in my perspective. So have a look at what they do here. Lots of singing, lots of music, lots of really living the culture, and that is something that I can appreciate. So guys, that's what I wanted to show you here in Tianjin. Some of the next videos will be coming from Shenzhen, where we're going to visit some other places with this particular tour, and where I will be giving a speech. So keep an eye open for that. And also from Hainan, where I haven't been in the last 12 years. So that ought to be pretty interesting. A short little excursion to the south where it will be warm and sunny. So guys, that's all for today. Thank you so much. Remember that if you like this content, give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content on my channel, then consider subscribing. And if you do that, don't forget to hit the bell button to be notified whenever there's a new video out. And until I see you again, take it easy and bye for now.